I have finally been given the green light to share this dream. I had this dream maybe about 2 weeks ago. So there was a husband and a wife. Like God allowed me to be the wife in the dream. And the wife thought the husband was being unfaithful, as far as with another woman or whatever. And when she tried to catch, or when I tried to catch my husband in the dream, the way God gave it to me, it was never another woman. But here's the thing, in the dream, he was with another man. So I sat with that, like, Holy Spirit, what are you trying to get me to see? This is why it's so important to take your dreams back to God. Because I could have been binding and rebuking, Lord, whose husband are you showing me with another man? Like, I rebuke that. That's the enemy. Holy Spirit just gave me revelation and the approval. Thank you, Holy Spirit, to be able to share this. So what the wisdom, what the download is, what the message is from this dream is the fact, take this back to God, see if and how this applies to you. But many of you, he gave this to me for the wives. Fellas, I know I got a bunch of you on here. If you're hearing this and you feel like Holy Spirit is still speaking this message to you as well, take heed to it. But of course, take it back to him to make sure it's for you. But he gave it to me for the wives. The enemy has come in and made you think that the reason your husband left, the reason things has not been working out, or all hell broke loose, that it has been another woman, that it has been a counterfeit situation. Remember, I did a message probably earlier this year, and I kept saying the Lord was speaking to me about a counterfeit, but I knew he wasn't talking about a person. A counterfeit could have been a mindset, a job, a way of living. Anything that was just fake or false was the counterfeit. But in this particular message here for you ladies, the enemy has, come up with, painted a whole picture and also validated it with signs, but demonic signs, the enemy signs, as if your husband was being unfaithful, as if your husband was seeing another woman, was with another woman. Like there were things in the natural that looked like it backed it up. But some of you, whoever this is for, Holy Spirit is saying you've gotten to the place where now you're ready to know what that really was. And it wasn't another man. The reason God gave it to me in a dream as another man, because, how do I say this, Holy Spirit? Lord, have your way. It would have been a more embarrassing moment for a man to be with another man. Those of you who don't have spiritual ears, do not come across or leave any type of comments, any worldly comments about this, and that. If you take this message sideways, you will be blocked. I'm just going to put it out there. But for a man to be exposed, thank you, Holy Spirit, of being with another man, it was deeper than that. Holy Spirit was saying the embarrassment of what the real reason was why these husbands left, why these husbands wanted a divorce, why these husbands didn't want the marriage to work. So you thinking that it was another woman, that he had a counterfeit, that you just had this feeling. I'm not saying every man that left was, didn't have a counterfeit. That's not what I'm saying. But for who this applies to, the enemy was so clever in this season, in this space that you've been in, with giving signs and things to back it up, that made it seem like, okay, he didn't come home at this time. He came home later than he usually comes home. He's been on his phone a lot. That's what I mean when I say natural signs, but demonic. He's trying to give you demonic revelation. Revelation is not from the Holy Spirit. This is why I say the enemy comes in like a false angel of light. So it looked like you had facts. It looked like you had screenshots. It looked like you had proof in the natural. But Holy Spirit is saying, whoever this is for, you've sat in a space of uncertainty. You've sat in a space of not knowing for sure what it was. And Holy Spirit is saying, like, you've graduated to a level where he can now trust you. Basically, the Lord is saying, you've been a good and faithful steward, still interceding for this man, or still interceding for this marriage, still believing me for this marriage, still having faith in this marriage, despite what you thought happened, despite what you thought was the reason that everything happened the way it happened. So he's saying you've he's used that level, that chaos, that uncertainty, even those attacks from the enemy to prune you, to purge you, to grow you, to strengthen you. So he's gotten all that he's needed to get out of the enemy for the way the enemy was attacking you. Are you hearing this with your spiritual ears? Holy Spirit was using the enemy to do what he was doing. He was allowing it because it was growing you, it was strengthening you, it was building your faith, it was making you bolder, it was taking you through your process, and the Lord saw fit to allow it to happen. But he's saying that season, you have gotten all the crushing out of that season. You have gotten the experience. You have gotten enough of the heartache and the heartbreak. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You've gotten enough of the discomfort out of that season that he required you to endure. Now he's letting you know, and going to be even letting you know more on, that it was never that, it was this. They left for something else that they were embarrassed to share, embarrassed to talk about, not sexually, as far as, like I said, being with someone of the same sex. That's not what this message is. But it was the embarrassment of what they're battling with, what they're dealing with, what they're going through, what their thoughts are, something to that nature. But he used this same sex, he used that just to indicate the humiliation. There it is. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The humiliation that your husbands, that your spouses are feeling and enduring, and why they ran, why they've been ignoring God, why they have been running from their calling. I even hear that they even felt weak by sharing that they needed help. Many of these men were crying out on the inside. I see the little boy in them crying out for help. But because of maybe their childhood or how they were raised, or maybe mommy issues or daddy issues, it went deeper than that. It went back further than even you. You didn't know this. These were things, and I did a message about this some weeks ago, that the Lord was saying these are things that even you didn't know about, a vulnerability that they were going to share with you. I don't know if these men knew what it was, or if it's just something, the humiliation and embarrassment of what they were fighting, of why they ran. That part I don't know. He didn't reveal that to me. But what he is saying, that the Lord is saying, you've been a good steward in the uncertainty, in the discomfort, in the chaos, in the pruning, in everything that he was allowing the enemy to do and allowing the enemy to make you think. The reason he sees fit that you've been a good steward, because you didn't give up. You didn't walk away from his feet. You didn't give up on God. You didn't give up on his promise. You didn't give up on Lord, whatever it is. If it's a counterfeit, I pray against that. You still stayed at his feet. So he's letting you know it's even deeper than that. But it's in the form of something with humiliation, shame, embarrassment, something that went deeper than your relationship. So take this back to God. I don't know if he'll reveal more to me to share, give me another dream, open more up as far as if these men are going to confess these things, if the Lord is going to expose these things. But to sum it all up, some of you had everything in a natural that looked like it validated and backed up it being a counterfeit. God never actually said a yes, this is what it is. Your spouse never actually said a yes, this is what it is. But everything, the 1 + 1 was equaling 2, the math was mathing, if that makes sense. But the Lord was saying he let you sit in that place, because that was also a part of your test, your refining, your pruning. He let you sit in that place. You've endured that place. You've been a good steward in that place. Now you've graduated to a level that is going to be revealed to you why, like I said, they ran, why they didn't want it to work out, why they left. I just keep hearing why. It's going to start making sense now. This is also going to cause you to extend grace on another level. Remember, I did a video some weeks ago about, it was a dream that I had, and the spouses were going to be vulnerable in such a way. They were battling with something that you didn't even know they were battling with. This is him not only giving me language for that dream, but also releasing me to share what that dream was. And normally he won't allow me to release what happened in the dream, because people will take it and run with it. But he's like, you got the green light, go ahead. Tread lightly in the comments. I'm just going to say that. Don't come sideways. Tread lightly. I'm not going to entertain it. But take this back to God. Let him unfold and reveal if this applies to you. And just be open, not only for what the Lord shows you, but how your husbands or wives are going to come and be open with you now.